U.S. and Spain about to kick off in Pamplona, Spain. The women's international friendly. U.S. in the all-white kit, going right to left on your screen. Spain in the red top, blue shorts, blue socks combo. Julie Foudy, Sebastian Salazar with you. Megan Rapinoe, early cross with the left foot to the back post. And the Spanish defense manages to clear. Haley Mace with the overlapping run. Cross well off the mark. It'll be a goal kick for Spain.
And this will be interesting, as we said in the open. Possibly a shift in that formation for Spain, going with the 5-back. And really, the 3 changes they made were somewhat surprising, really. Teresa Abellero out, Irene Guerrero out in midfield, Codina in at center back, and the one that surprised me the most, Atenea del Castillo, who I thought had a really good game against Sweden. Played on the left wing. She is also subbed out.
Alana Cook to Becky Sauerbrunn. That's your center back duo today for the United States. Mace with time, looking behind. Offside flag stays down for now. Rose Lavelle unable to keep the ball in play. Jorge Vilda taking over the Spanish team after the 2015 World Cup. He's managed to get them to the quarterfinal rounds at each of the last 2 European championships. At the 2019 World Cup in France, they made it to the round of 16, where, Julie, you could argue they gave the U.S. probably the toughest game of any of the teams in that knockout.
I know. What is remarkable is when you look at they've never won a knockout game at a major tournament, this Spain team, and they have, as you mentioned, they've made it to the round of 16 in the World Cup, quarterfinals of Euros this summer. And that is the thing that's lingering over the Spanish team, is the inability to convert all their success at the youth national team level. They're the reigning under-17 World Cup champions, reigning under-20 World Cup champions. And you go back and look at the list of their success at the youth level, and they just haven't been able to get over that hurdle, which is what you're hearing from the player side is part of this dispute with the 15 players.
Carson Pickett losing out there to Oyane Hernandez as Spain takes over on the American side of midfield. As we mentioned, this is a very different Spanish side than the one we saw at the European Championships. 15 players asking not to be called up during this international window. A dispute with the Federation and their manager, Jorge Vilda. Becky Sauerbrunn wearing the captain's armband today. Back to Casey Murphy, earning her 10th cap for the United States. Only for the North Carolina Courage in the National Women's Soccer League. She had 6 clean sheets this past season. Disappointing campaign for North Carolina as they finished 7th, missing out on the playoffs. Playoffs, of course, are just about to begin once this window wraps up. Sophia Smith, what a campaign she's had for Portland. 14 goals, 3 assists. Pickett in behind. Can't quite get the cross off, but does earn a corner kick.
How about that for Carson Pickett? Called in, got to Spain on Sunday afternoon, turn that around and go, okay, hey, you're starting in this game on Tuesday.
Replacing Emily Fox, who was injured in that game against England. Trinity Rodman, the 2021 NWSL Rookie of the Year. Trying to make things uncomfortable for Misa Rodriguez, the goalie for Spain. Megan Rapinoe to offer service. Corner kick in the 5th minute.
And look at that traffic in front of Misa.
Overcooked cross from Rapinoe trickles out of play harmlessly, and Spain will take over. Vlatko Andonovski, manager of the U.S. Women's National Team, took over shortly after the 2019 World Cup. Took this team to a bronze medal at the Olympics now 2 summers ago. Seventh cap for Hailie Mace, the Ventura, California native. Olga Carmona, left back for Spain, classy player, 22-year-old, plays for Real Madrid.
7 players from Real Madrid in this starting lineup tonight. 8 in the starting lineup against Sweden in their game on October 7th. Notably absent from that group of 15 are the Real Madrid players, choosing not to publish the letter.
Rodman gets to the end line. Her cross only half scuttled away. Chance here for the U.S. Mace driving to the area. She goes down. No whistle from our referee, Deborah Bianchi, who leads an all-Italian crew tonight.
Good sign when you can get those outside backs forward, and Hailie Mace, there is that tackle.
Ivana Andres, the captain. The key defensive play for the Spanish national team 6 minutes into this one. Mentioned Spain's draw against Sweden. That's even more impressive considering what Sweden did today, Julie. 3-0 winners against France. Lavelle leading the attack. This is dangerous on that left foot. Lindsey Horan in behind. Misa Rodriguez just getting to it. Still alive for the United States. Pickett. Class from Horan. Andy Sullivan. Megan Rapinoe wide. Pickett. Well-driven ball to the penalty spot. Spain struggling to clear their lines here as the U.S. turns up the pressure. Trinity Rodman giving chase.
And really the inability of Spain, once they lose possession, the United States, once they lose possession, Spain inability to get it out of their final third.
Hernandez. Pass Pickett, but not Horan. Hernandez incensed at the referee's decision. The U.S. takes over. Becky Sauerbrunn making her 210th appearance for the United States. Julie, we're still waiting on that first goal. I know she's going to get one. Hopefully we'll be the ones lucky enough to call it. And you can see top 10 all-time caps for Becky Sauerbrunn. Smith turning and burning. Had Rapinoe, chose to keep it herself. Spain winning the ball just to give it right back to the U.S.
We talked about all the changes with Spain. Vlatko was quick to point out all the absences for the U.S. team as well. That front three not having spent much time together. Smith not playing much in the 9. She plays in the 9 for Portland, but really was her first time in that central position for the United States in their first game at Wembley against England. Then you've got this back line, as we talked about, 4 of the changes all coming in defense, 3 on that back line, Casey Murphy in goal. And he was quick to point out all of the absences as well.
It's a long list, Julie. Alex Morgan, Mallory Pugh, just to name kind of the short-term injuries, and then Mallory Pugh, a family commitment. And then you got the long-term injuries, Sam Mewis, Katarina Macario, Kelly O'Hara, Julie Ertz, Tierna Davidson. As you mentioned before, Emily Fox, who got injured against England. So this U.S. team not quite at full strength either.
There was the play earlier, the attack. Misa coming off her line to punch that one away.
Lindsey Horan, the only European-based player on this roster, of course, plays for Lyon in France. Now Champions League winner Lindsey Horan.
And you can see there's a good look of those 5 on the back line for Spain. Sitting in a lower block. Did this against Sweden as well. I thought they actually struggled in the first 15 minutes against Sweden. Sweden able to get one within those first 15 minutes to go up. Here is the earlier play into Horan. Rose Lavelle trying to find her. Misa coming off her line.
Trinity Rodman comes up limping. Seems to be favoring that right leg.
Those hurt.
No VAR in this game, Julie. I'm sure a lot of U.S. fans probably happy about that after what happened at Wembley. I mean, come on that Trinity Rodman goal. Where are they finding the outside on that?
And the angle they show. Come on. That's the thing. It's like, if you're going to do VAR, let's get some cameras in there so we can have an angle, a proper angle to actually make the call.
U.S. going direct for Rapinoe. She's in behind now. On that left foot, driven to the near post. Rocio Galvez out of play. Corner kick coming for the United States in the 12th minute. Second corner of the game, still waiting for our first shot on goal. Possession so far 60-40 to the U.S. A stark difference from what we saw at Wembley against England, where the United States were outpossessed by their opposition. Great ball from Megan Rapinoe. Nobody there to get a touch to it.
Andy Sullivan giving a little wave, saying thank you for that bite of the apple. Just couldn't get over it.
Jorge Vilda has the backing of his federation. Julia mentioned it off the top of the show in a statement. There is no question who the Spanish Federation is siding with in this dispute.
What was their quote? And what they said is we will only have committed footballers if those players if they want to return. The quote was, if they accept their mistake and ask for forgiveness. That came from the federation. Does that feel a little bit like you're getting scolded by a parent? I go to, if that's 15 men making this complaint, which they tried to do privately and multiple times according to reports to the federation. If 15 male players were doing that, is that the response you would have gotten? How dare you speak up like that, was what it felt like. How dare you question us? Sit down. As we were told many times as a younger player, just be grateful. Why do you keep bringing this up? Shut up and sit down. That was the refrain. And so when I heard that, I was like, wow. Sounds all too familiar.
The results of the Sally Yates investigation.
Yeah, exactly.
Feels very dismissive, and you've talked about before in this sport is that culture of silence. If you aren't going to listen to the senior national team players, what does that tell a teenage player in Spain?
And look at the list of 15 players, your stars. Even though Putellas and Paredes, their captain, weren't on that list only because they were injured. They made it clear they support those 15 in their quest to get things changed. So I was surprised by that response by the Spanish Federation. And let's remember, they said this is unprecedented in the Spanish Federation. It took the players having to revolt to get the prior coach, Ignacio Corredo, out before that. He was in from 1988 to 2015. And I don't know the background to Jorge Vilda. I'm pushing no shade on him. I don't know that story or background, but the response by the federation is the thing that irked me.
All of this, of course, just 10 months ahead of the World Cup. Dani Lopez under pressure from Rapinoe. Esther Gonzalez, the number 9, getting her first touches of the game. Spain now growing into this match through some possession. Forced to clear, good win from Horan. Spain still on the ball in the 16th minute. Speaking of possession, Julie, the percentage against England, 31% possession for the United States, the lowest from this team in 6 years. I know sometimes the possession stat doesn't tell you the full story of the game. The U.S. were dangerous, but that's a number you don't really see too often with this American squad.
And it's something Vlatko addressed to us in our pre-call with him, saying, hey, look, our possession needs to be better. We were too quick to turn over the ball. We want to transition. We realize that's a strength of ours, but we gotta be more patient. I mean, the number 2 that I saw, England completed 616 of its passes in midfield to the U.S.'s 260. And I do think that was a problem. That midfield of England overpowered the United States midfield.
Just the 2 shots on goal for the United States. The same midfield against England that we're seeing tonight. Moran, Lavelle, and Sullivan. Andres on the ball, her 40th appearance. She's the most experienced player in the Spanish group. Speaking of turmoil, Julie, we're just 8 days removed from the Sally Yates investigation results becoming public. Well, obviously more on that at halftime, but speaking of that England game, you got to wonder if it impacted this U.S. team at Wembley.
Oh, absolutely. When you put it in the context of the week these players had, you heard Megan Rapinoe, there's the Olga Carmona foul. When you're talking about the week those players had to endure, and you heard it from Rapinoe, you heard it from Becky Sauerbrunn, Alana Cook, it takes a toll. It's emotionally exhausting. And I think Vlatko Andonovski and the entire staff gave them a lot of space to try and process it, as each player does in its own way. But I actually thought that was a tremendous game for the United States, given the week that they had emotionally.
Carson Pickett. Horan, 1-on-1. Put to the back post, falls to Mace. Mace on her left foot. Blocked away by Sornosa. Claudia Sornosa with a big defensive play to keep us scoreless.
Again, it's the right back from the United States, and Haley Mace giving the United States a little offensive punch here. You also saw Haley Mace stepping aggressively forward defensively on Olga Carmona. Carmona was, I thought, the most impressive Spanish player in that game against Sweden, constantly getting forward on that left side. Here's Horan earlier, gets around the corner a little too easily if you're Spain. Mace doing a good job to try and get them to bite on that first, tries to create a little window.
Turnover from Spain could be trouble. Sophia Smith. Pickett. Wanted Rapinoe, couldn't find her. Spain trying to play out of the back. Uh-oh. Rapinoe for Smith, just slid through her legs.
Well done by Andi Sullivan again, getting in good positions to stop that counterattack by the Spanish team. Unable to build once they win.
"20 minutes in, still scoreless between the U.S. and Spain at Estadio El Sadar in Pamplona. Good opportunity here for the United States to get some competition away from home. Obviously the tough trip to Wembley, and now getting to play a quality opponent like Spain on their home turf. Hernandez, double teamed in the corner. Lopez, cut out up by Pickett. Brilliantly done by the American left back. Oh, what a turn. Sornosa showing off her skills. And here comes the whistle from Bianchi. Set piece coming up for Spain.
And these little moments for a Spanish team that doesn't have a ton of experience based on what we've been talking about with those players missing. These little moments to try and, you're coming in against the reigning World Cup champion. Try and get some swagger, a little confidence. You saw it grow against Sweden. It took them a good 15 minutes to build into it, but here's a really good chance for them.
Claudia Sornosa to offer the service. Right to the box, saved by Murphy. Laia Codina coming close to an opener for Spain. Sauerbrunn first to it.
Spain doing a really good job. You'll see it when we go to a wide shot again of every time an outside back gets the ball, Esther Gonzalez, the 9, cutting off that other center back. So forcing him to play in for the midfield, play forward, but not letting them set play through Becky Sauerbrunn or Alana Cook. And that's the way they're shaping up with those two front in this 5-3-2 we're seeing out of this changed formation.
Megan Rapinoe, the quick throw, trying to find Smith. Rodriguez under pressure, buys herself some time. Spain are determined to play out of this American press. As Megan Rapinoe forces it out of bounds. 23 minutes in, still waiting for the first goal between the United States and Spain. These two teams met at the last World Cup, round of 16. Megan Rapinoe, the star on that day. Americans advanced in a tournament they'd eventually win.
They probably still having nightmares about that one, don't you think? The Rapinoe getting both? I really thought in that 2019 World Cup round of 16 game that was the toughest game the U.S. have played in that tournament. And then, pretty certain England would say the same for their Euros. Taking them to about the 85th minute to actually get in that game. Spain having so much of that possession in the quarterfinal of the Euros.
And again, that was a Spanish team without Alexia Putellas, the Golden Ball winner, and Jenny Hermoso, their all-time leading scorer. So you cannot question Spain's talent.
No. The thing that the thing we always have questioned is, without Putellas and Hermoso was giving them an offensive punches. Where's that scoring going to come from? A lot of possession, not a lot of scoring on the other end.
Moran, a rare mistake. Could be a 3-on-2, maybe even a... Oh, Moran cleaned up her own mess. U.S. survives, so it could have been a scary situation. Can they turn it into more? Beautiful ball from Lavelle for Smith. Sophia Smith into the area. Smith past one on her left. Spain defending with everything to keep it scoreless. Esther Gonzalez, the number 9, operating some 70 yards from the goal she's trying to score on. Gives you an idea just how far back this Spanish team is pinned. Could it be another turnover? Lavelle called for the foul. Rose Lavelle, 27 years old, plays for OL Reign, who finished atop the NWSL regular season standings. It's her 82nd cap in the U.S. Oroz. Galvez. Codina. Past Rapinoe. Still Codina. Alba Redondo trying to work through a double team. No luck there. Lavelle. Horan. Rapinoe. Second chance for Rapinoe to the back post. Rodriguez, a key touch to put it out of bounds. Trinity Rodman was lurking.
And here is the Rapinoe ball in. Misa Rodriguez just getting a hand on it. Rodman trying to redirect it back had she not gotten a hand on it, but you did see Rodman again playing with that ankle after that play. Keep an eye on that. Stomped on a little bit earlier in the game.
27th minute, Megan Rapinoe to take the corner kick. 6 U.S. players in the box. Carson Pickett just outside it. To the near post, Sullivan misses. And Spain clear. Sauerbrunn out of pressure. Cook goes direct. ESPN's coverage of U.S. soccer is presented by the all-electric Volkswagen ID4.
I think that's a situation with Alana Cook. A lot of time on the ball where you do have a little more patience. Not on over the top. I get you do want to stretch this Spanish team.
Not quite the crowd that the U.S. played in front of at Wembley, but pretty good attendance in Pamplona. Hernandez. Lopez trying to give and go. Pickett read it well. Ushers the ball out of bounds, but Spain will get a corner kick out of this.
And I think those wing backs are going to be critical for Spain. If they're going to get a little offensive rhythm going, Hernandez on the right, Olga Carmona on the left. Typically play such a presence in the Spanish style.
First corner kick of the game for Spain. Can they take advantage of it just before the half-hour mark? If Rose Lavelle has anything to say about it, she heads it out of bounds. It'll be a second corner kick for Spain. Rodman away. U.S. coming off their first loss since the semifinals of last summer's Olympics, of course, falling to regional rival Canada. Defeat not something, Julie, this U.S. team is too accustomed to dealing with. Right start for Haley Mace here. She's applying more pressure on the right flank.
No, given that the U.S. right now is 3-2-3 since the start of 2021 with teams from Europe, they really want to get on the plus side of that equation. In those games, they played Sweden twice, England, Netherlands, Portugal, France. Good teams.
Moran gives it away. Gonzalez. Shot from distance. They seem to have it covered. But Sornosa nearly did the job.
Gets a little bit of space. Too slow to step. I mean, I think that's a bit ambitious on Casey Mercy from that distance. But recognizing when she had the space, Zornosa good against Sweden and looking good again against the United States today. 31-year-old from Real Madrid, one of the 7 starters of Real Madrid on this team.
The heavy Real Madrid influence. Laia Godina, the only Barcelona player in this 11. Spain launching their attack down the left-hand side. Carmona cross. US now defending deep.
Again, it's starting from that wing-back position for Spain. Carmona on that left side, Hernandez before on the right.
Vlatko Andonovski undoubtedly looking forward to the World Cup next summer in Australia and New Zealand. Speaking of World Cups, Julie, the Under-17 World Cup kicked off today. The U.S. playing there. They're playing against the host country, India, 8-0, the final score of that game. How about this, though? The U.S. has never actually won an Under-17 World Cup. And their last win at the Under-20 level was way back in 2012, and of course compare that to what you mentioned earlier, which is the fact that Spain are your reigning champs at both the Under-17 and Under-20 levels.
And so much success at the World Championship level, UEFA level. For the U.S. too, the last 5 youth championships for either the Under-17s or Under-20s for the U.S. women, 4 out of the 5, U.S. didn't even get out of their group. And the one they did, they finished in 4th place. And so you do feel it's only a matter of time for this Spanish team and the results at that youth level to show at the senior level. Zornosa again on the ball. Rose coming in heavy.
To his credit, Julie, a lot of that success for Spain's youth national teams did come under Jorge Vilda, we should note. Built up his resume before taking over the senior national team job. Carmona putting on a show out there, huh?
She's a good little player. Another Real Madrid player. Carmona, speaking of, on that Under-19 Euro winning team from 2018. Quite a few players actually on that team. Hernandez, the other wingback on the right side, also on that team. Misa Rodriguez on that team in goal.
Picking for Smith. Americans wanted a foul, but no whistle on Galvez. Now the game's getting chippy. A couple big collisions. Megan Rapinoe making her presence felt. Interesting, Julie, when she was called back into the team after an absence, it seemed like her role was pretty solid. I mean, coming off the bench, kind of that super sub. And yet we've seen her start the last 2 games.
Right, it's the, as Vlatko Andonovski said, next woman up mantra. You do have to use with injuries and issues that occur and absences. But it does feel there's a lot of next woman up right now with this team due to so many players missing.
Good hold-out play from Smith as she was double-teamed, earns the foul. What do you think of Smith playing there as the 9? Obviously not what we usually see from her at the national team level.
I mean, she plays there for Portland. We've seen her do great things. They play in a 2-front for Portland, and she's higher. But I like her wide running at players. she's faced up, going at him. In the 9, she's obviously a lot more back to pressure. I think the other big miss too is with Alex Morgan out, you got Mal Pugh out as well due to a family commitment. So 2 of your arguably hottest players in terms of offensive superpower are gone from this national team front line.
Smith on the turn, shot deflected. Alex Morgan, 15 goals this NWSL season. Mallory Pugh, who was a MVP finalist last year, definitely in that conversation again. Well, she was able to do with Chicago. Rodriguez, terrible ball out of the back. Falls for Smith, back to Horan. U.S. creating turnovers, so far unable to take advantage. Under 10 to go in the first half. Horan wanted Megs.
Well done by Lopez defensively for Spain. But a dangerous game. Misa Rodriguez playing with, give credit to that player right there, Megan Rapinoe, putting that pressure on the Spanish goalkeeper. And there is that pressure again. Pickett joining in as well this time. But to your point, Sebi, unable to 36 in to get anything off of that press. This is how they got their goal against England to get back into that game. Horan stepping, pressing, Sophia Smith putting it away.
Mariana Hernandez called for the foul on Megan Rapinoe. Since we brought up the possession stat earlier, it's now in favor of Spain, 55-45, Julie.
That's better than the 70-30.
Yes.
And we always know Spain's going to be.
I'm not a math major, but yes.
We always know Spain's going to be way ahead in the possession stat. That's actually relatively low by Spanish standards.
Our coverage of the MLS playoffs kicks off Sunday with a couple of first-round matchups. First, we got Austin against RSL in the Western Conference. That's on ABC at 3 p.m. Eastern. Then at 8 p.m. on ESPN, we got Montreal against Orlando City. Both matches are also available in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. Good build-up from Spain. No surprise, it comes through Carmona. Hernandez tracks it down on the near sideline. Pickett with the sturdy defense. Spain earns a corner kick in the 39th minute. Closing in on halftime here at Estadio El Sadar. Still no goals between the United States and Spain. Sornosa, who nearly scored from distance earlier. Now with the corner, right in the middle of the area. Desperate defending here. Goal for Spain! The Spanish are ahead in the 39th minute. Laia Codina scuttles it across the line, and the Americans have fallen behind.
Similar situation for Spain as the Sweden game. Set piece, bouncing around. The United States unable to clear it, aren't able to get this second ball out of there. No one steps, falls right to Codina, and she does a little toe poke in through the traffic. Casey Murphy can't see it, just to get something on it. And you see the disappointment in the United States. No player steps. It looks like they're waiting a little bit. So much traffic. Falls right to Codina. And this Spanish side, and no one more excited about that than Jorge Vilda, going up 1-0 in this first half.
Conceding will never make a manager happy, but I'm sure Vlatko Ananovsky will be even more upset that that goal came off a set piece, Julie. Smith muscled off the ball, but it ends up at the feet of Rapinoe. Now Sullivan. Can the U.S. find a quick response? Got about 5 minutes, maybe some more. Mace. Right at Rodriguez.
We talked about in that first game what a test it was for this younger U.S. team, missing a lot of players in a sold-out stadium in Wembley to come back and try and fight back into that game. They did it once, they thought they did it twice, that goal gets called back. But now you're talking about this team being tested in a moment where they've come off a loss. They are a younger team with a lot of changes, but you're playing a Spanish team that's completely depleted. And no U.S. player wants to walk away from this European trip with 2 losses. One at Wembley and second to the B team of the Spanish national team.
Smith really getting manhandled there, and eventually the whistle does come. Galvez the guilty party.
And I think as a player, Sebi, that goes through your mind quickly right there. You're like, we are not walking away from this. That's embarrassing. We don't want that. This isn't our brand. And so we'll see what the response is for this team. Right here, an important corner kick to try and get something back.
There it is. He's getting feisty in Pamplona. U.S. conceding on a corner. Can they equalize from one in the 42nd? Rapinoe. Cook can't get to it. Lindsey Horan down in the box, asking questions of the referee.
Rapinoe,
no VAR here.
And Rapinoe's not going to be. Here is the goal. On the ground, hit a player. Looks like in the hand area. I don't think that's one you're going to get called back, if that's what they're looking at.
Julie, that's the first goal that the U.S. has given up off a set piece in over a year. Last one coming at the Olympics against Sweden on a corner kick. U.S. More pressure leads to another Spanish turnover. Just a couple minutes left in the first half here, and the U.S. trail. Coming off a defeat to England, back-to-back losses unthinkable for this American squad. Coming up at the half, we'll have plenty more on the Sally Yates-led investigation, the ensuing fallout of the last week, plus a recap of the first half and a look ahead to the second between the U.S. and Spain. This will give you a look at the latest E60, Truth Be Told, the story of the National Women's Soccer League, which of course documents happened in that tumultuous 2021 season and since. Haley Mace driving at the Spanish defense, leaves it for Smith. Smith one-on-one with Carmona. Olga wins it. Brilliant, brilliant night at the left back spot, the Spanish number 19. Rodman. And Rapinoe couldn't find her. 45th minute. U.S. trying to tie this up before we get to the half. Deborah Bianchi puts the final touch on the opening 45 minutes from Estadio El Sadar in Pamplona, Spain. The Spanish women's national team, thanks to Laia Codina, hold a 1-0 lead over the side. Ashley Hatch entering the game. Star striker for the Washington Spirit out of the National Women's Soccer League. In fact, the NWSL Golden Boot winner a season ago. She'll be wearing the number 7 here as the Americans line up. In the all-white kits, they'll be going left to right on your screen. Spain in the red tops, blue shorts, blue socks. Will be going right to left. Deborah Bianchi, our referee today, on a beautiful night in Pamplona.
Looks like that substitution was for Rodman, with Sophia Smith moving to that right side. Hatch into the 9.
Spain goes direct off the kickoff, and it falls to Carmona. Carmona had a brilliant first half. Gets it on her left foot. It's deflected out of bounds, and Spain will start the second half on the front foot. Spain scored their goal off a corner kick. Chance outside the area for Sornosa.
Guaranteed at halftime. One of the conversations was, never again are we giving a corner kick goal up. We're winning that first ball. You saw Becky Sauerbrunn rising in the air to win that. One of the things these U.S. teams over the years have taken great pride in is winning that first ball, winning that second ball.
Jan Hernandez wearing the number 2 for Spain. Andy Sullivan springing Sophia Smith. Smith needs some help.
Something we've been seeing all game. Smith running at 3-4 red jerseys, with Spain lining up with 3 center backs. A lot of numbers clogged centrally. And I'm certain as well that's one of the reasons they're wanting to push Smith out wider a little bit. There she was caught again in that inner corridor, but they want her more on that outer corridor, running that flank, trying to get behind. 1, 2, 3. You see right in their screen there on that tight shot.
Julie, the last time the U.S. lost back-to-back games, March of 2017. It was the She Believes Cup. Their first defeat was against England, and the second defeat in that stretch, a 3-0 loss to France at RFK Stadium.
You got to wind it back 5.5 years.
Megan Rapinoe, Ballon d'Or winner, Golden Boot and Golden Ball winner. Not an award or a medal she hasn't won, to be frank. Smith now operating in a wider role as Ashley Hatch plays through the middle. Hatch off the bench to make her 14th senior appearance for the U.S. Carmona cutting inside now. Rodriguez under pressure. Sullivan falls to Sauerbrunn. Pickett 6 assists this season. That tied for best in the National Women's Soccer League alongside Mallory Pugh. Nice build up down the left side, but a whistle signals the ball out of play. Throw in Spain. Under 20th cap for Lindsey Horan. Number 10. An iconic number for any team, but certainly for the U.S. women's national team. Long list, Julie, of greats that have worn that number for the red, white, and blue. Lindsey Horan, the latest. She's on it now. Rapinoe overlapping. Hernandez wins the foot race. Pickett drops for Rapinoe. Rapinoe to the back post. There's Horan. Her header well off the mark, but an early chance in the second half for the United States.
Such a good look by Megan Rapinoe as well, because Horan had some separation on that. You see, she gets off her defender, gets up, just gets it all wrong on the header, but did have some clearance, which is so hard in the first place sometimes, is to just get that separation.
Lavelle ahead for Smith. Smith into the area, she goes down. Yankee swallows her whistle. Popped it right back up there. Spain will take over after an American foul. 52 minutes down. The U.S. and Vlatko Andonovski still trail. Made one change at the half, bringing on Ashley Hatch. Of course, as always, a loaded bench for this American side. Let's see what the manager does to try and change the trajectory of this match.
There you see Sam Coffey, Sofia Huerta looking like they're going to get in. Sofia Huerta on some minute management.
Nice cross. Falls for Ross. Back for Carmona. Trying to beat Cook. Haley Mace with a big play at the near post. Still not cleared for the Americans. Rapinoe real late to that one. And she will be into the book. The Yankee opting for yellow.
Trying to wave her off. I don't know if there's much you can argue on that. You're a step late coming to it. There it is. Just when you try and pull away.
Well, if Megan doesn't believe she's innocent,
Yeah,
the referee's certainly not going to believe it.
Yeah,
I get it.
swear I didn't mean it. Only goes so far.
Molina, the goal scorer, the player chopped down. Sornosa, who's been dangerous on set pieces all night, will offer up another bit of service in the 53rd. Spain looking to double their advantage. Murphy sets her defense. Sornosa. Sauerbrunn, big header. Spain all the way back to Rodriguez. 23-year-old earning her 8th cap today, plays for Real Madrid. Redondo. Carmona. Still Carmona. Lopez.
the challenge for the United States team is to not let Spain get comfortable, because you know, when Spain gets comfortable in possession and they get a little swagger going, it is so hard. You end up chasing. It's frustrating. It's exhausting.
Haley Mace to Horan. Low driven ball falls to Mace again. Undeterred by the pressure, maintains possession for Spain.
Both these games, Sebi, have just looked a little bit off the pace, haven't they, for the United States? A little sloppy. I mean, and I think
maybe end of the season stuff.
I mean, so it's end of the season, but I don't think you can discount the Sally Yates report and the impact that has on you. You don't necessarily understand the physical exhaustion it exerts when you're emotionally fatigued like you are, reading through it, and it's triggering for people, and they're having to relive it with players and talk about it a lot. I mean, Vlatko Andonovski said it wasn't until literally yesterday that he felt like there was less conversations about it. So I don't think we should discount that, but it just looks a little off. Everything is a step slow. And it's in the season, but
to your point about the heavy week too, I think it's almost like every day there's more and more news coming, right? We found out yesterday that the Orlando Pride had terminated the contracts of Coach Amanda Cromwell as well as her assistant Sam Green after a joint NWSL Players Association investigation that found that the duo had engaged in retaliatory conduct. So it's almost a daily cascade of bad news as we comes out around the National Women's Soccer League. Spain going to the bench here. Alba Redondo comes out, and Atenea del Castillo, a player, Julie, that we really, really like at this summer's European Championships, who wears the number 10 for Spain, is about to come on.
Yeah, and this is a player who, with fresh legs, mind you, coming in 56 minutes in, brings some pace as well. Another Real Madrid player who at the Euros we saw came off the bench. She started against Sweden this last game, but came off the bench at the Euros and really, with her pace, can change a game.
As we approach the 60th minute, still, Julie, no shots on goal for this U.S. team. That after compiling just 2 shots on goal against England on Friday. Second cap. Bell finds Horan. Slowed down by the Spanish midfield, but the Americans still on the ball. Now Carmona takes over. Horan slow to get up.
Mace and Carmona, this matchup has been a battle all night. Mace doing a really good job of making sure she's not giving Carmona the space to run at her, trying to step high into the midfield often to put that pressure on her. But it does leave that gap in behind her as well.
Sornosa on that magical left foot. Carmona, another overlap. Murphy palms it away. Shame for her, no Spanish players in the vicinity.
Again, Carmona from that left side.
U.S. may have been bailed out by the whistle there. That turnover could have been major trouble for the Americans. Spain would have had a 3-on-2.
Rose Lavelle trying to get a little bit deeper to help Andi Sullivan with the buildup. Del Castillo really a bit unlucky. Gets her as she got the ball as well. Gets her as she's trying to get that touch.
Julie, how about this? We're being told that tonight's attendance, 11,209, is a record. Highest attendance that the Spanish women's national team has ever had for a match in Spain.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hard to believe.
Given all that's going on as well.
But no doubt in the headlines. People know about this team in Spain. It's been a huge story. A showdown between the core of the team that was at the European Championships and the manager Jorge Vilda. We talked about it at length in the first half.
Yeah, and I keep going back to, what's next? World Cup 10 months away. What happens to those 15? With the federation demanding an apology, and you shall say that, you acted wrong if you want ice cream.
Well, just generally to the point, very dismissive. I mean, it was almost as if the thoughts of the players were in no way taken into consideration.
Yeah.
And it's a standoff. And again, with less than a year to go before the World Cup, Spain, a team a lot of people think would be dangerous. That looms large. Crystal Dunn checking in the game.
Always good to see Crystal Dunn getting her minutes back. Only about 5 months removed from having her baby. Going back to the Spanish situation, and there comes Sam Coffey as well. One of the things I know we learned as a team is unless you were unified together as players, so we always knew we were safe because we were all in it together. If you cut one of us, you cut all of us. So it's going to be interesting as well from the player side what happens going forward. Because if they do unify and you get all of this group and all of the under-20s who just won a World Cup in solidarity with those 15, then who's going to blink? Doesn't look like they're there yet, and I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but that's the most effective way.
Dangerous ball here. Esther Gonzalez, the header. Just glances wide of the far post. Spain knocking on the door for a second. Actually, just to finish up some housekeeping on these substitutions, it was Coffey for Sullivan, Dunn for Pickett, Sofia Huerta for Haley Mace. Long ball for Hatch. Skips into the waiting arms of Rodriguez.
Here is that Spain chance again. Esther on the back post. Del Castillo making the near post run. And it is Esther Gonzalez. No, and she had a good look to put this game away. That would have been a tough hole for the United States to dig out of.
Hernandez and Dunn in a one-on-one clash. American winning out. First up coming here for the United States is Ashley Sanchez wearing number 2 comes on. Pino will leave off the far side of the field.
So it looks like Rose Lavelle pops up high into that right wing position. Sophia Smith over to the left. Ashley Sanchez in midfield in the 10 alongside Horan now. And Hatch still in the 9.
first touch. Sophia Smith still on the ground. For the moment, the Americans playing with 10. Indecision whether to keep playing or put it out of play, but Sophia Smith clearly seems like she won't be able to continue here in the 65th. This is a big concern.
Hard to see from that angle.
She will push on here. 25th cap, Sophia Smith, #1 overall pick in the 2020 NWSL draft.
The fine institution of Stanford University.
Dunn for Hatch, back to Dunn. Early left-footed cross. Dunn called for the infraction.
Dunn got body checked on that. You can see her also possibly a handball there.
And another reminder that ESPN's coverage of U.S. soccer is presented by the all-electric Volkswagen ID4. Foot off the gas there for a second. Now Murphy under big-time pressure. Manages to clear it. Sornosa. Working against a double team here. She's tricky, though. Some time. Her long ball cut out. Hernandez wearing #2 with nice defensive play. Here comes the U.S.
And those three center backs again, keeping their shape so well for Spain. The system for them, which often shapes up into a 3-5-2 with Carmona on the left and Hernandez on the right, popping up higher, has worked out well. U.S. unable to get a rhythm, get any offensive consistency tonight.
Sanchez. This ball. It's going to be trouble for Alana Cook. Spain takes over. Gonzalez. Can she find Del Castillo? Yes, here's the Spanish #10. Sornosa. Spain happy to keep possession. They hold the lead 1-0. 37th minute goal from Laia Codina, the difference. Sornosa for Carmona. Carmona to the back post. Murphy, what a save! Casey Murphy keeps it out. Needed all of her 6'1" frame. Julie, American fans that were hoping for a better second half than the first certainly haven't seen it yet, have they?
No, and now you see Spain getting into a rhythm of and some confidence. And now you've got some pace and players like with fresh legs, Del Castillo.
Huerta goes down there, draws the foul, holding her shoulder.
Here is the save by Murphy. And what a good save that ends up being. This was supposed to be a cross, but how often have we seen these sneak into that top corner? That's a great save by Casey Murphy to keep this game close.
Rose Lavelle got an overlapping run from Huerta. Pass from Bell, way off the mark. U.S. misses out on a chance.
And I think that's where the U.S. has struggled to get anything going offensively, is from that outside back position. Carson Pickett, as we talked about, just arrived on Sunday in for Emily Fox due to concussion protocol. And then you have Sofia Huerta out on minute restriction. She could only get 30. Crystal Dunn on minute restrictions, getting back into shape after having a baby. And so you really... Kelly O'Hara out on injury. I mean, you go down the list of typically a lot of offensive power from that flank wide position.
Sam Coffey looking to make an impact with that ball there, wearing the number 14. Dunn's pass intercepted by Oroz. Again. Give and go for Hernandez. Ollane Hernandez. What a touch! ¡Qué golazo! Esther González, ¿qué has hecho? 2-0 Spain!
Just too easy for Spain out wide. A little give and go to start it off. Hernandez getting forward. Links with Lopez, a 1-2 around Dunn. And then all the space in the world, but what a finish this is by Gonzalez. Esther Gonzalez letting it come across her body, as hard as that is, and then with her left foot not pushing it wide, redirecting it perfectly into the corner. But just too easy on the flanks for the United States, for Spain to break free. And too much space for Gonzalez in the back. And honestly, a deserved second goal for Spain. U.S. just hasn't looked the part tonight.
Jorge Vilda, a manager under fire, getting a massive result here as Spain leads the United States, the defending World Cup champions, 2-0 with less than 20 minutes to play. Vlatko Andonovski making another change. Alyssa Thompson, fresh off her debut with the senior national team at just 17 years of age against England, getting her second cap here against Spain. Can she be the spark that brings the U.S. back into this match?
Yeah, you're turning to a 17-year-old whose first cap was at Wembley. Mind you, Alyssa Thompson has got a ton of upside and potential. Playing for an MLS Next Boys under-17 team. Think about that. Her sister Giselle just scored in the 8-0 win against India today with the under-17 youth national team. Alyssa missed that World Cup by 55 days because of her birthday, getting into the action quick. I mean, this is a player with a ton of promise. But Vlatko did mention, given all the absences and injuries, he said, you know, typically you could turn and look to your bench and you've got someone with, you know, a lot of experience, maybe some World Cups and Olympics. And he said, right now I'm having to look to the youth to try and change these games in these moments.
Yeah, to the point about the U.S. being the defending World Cup champions, it is a very different team than it was back in 2019. A lot of that veteran core retired, aged out. Vlatko Andonovski has had to rebuild, certainly since the Olympics. The U.S., just like Spain, has their eye squarely on the World Cup next summer. Julie, it's the signature matchup of the La Liga season, and we have it for you Sunday on ESPN Plus. El Clásico, Real Madrid against Barcelona. And a reminder, every La Liga match all season long available in English and Spanish on ESPN Plus. Alyssa Thompson forcing the issue. Can't get past the defender, but does earn a corner kick for the U.S. 15 minutes left as the Americans trail by 2.
There is the goal again. And what a beauty of a finish that is from Gonzalez.
Coffey, the corner. Can't get it past the first defender. Clear advantage in set pieces today for Spain. She made that look easy, but that's
so
a tough finish.
Hard to let it come across your body. Open your hips. Keep it on frame. Oh, that's a beauty.
20th international goal.
I mean, the other thing that hurts with this game is this is a Spanish team which everyone has known forever. Can keep all the possession and play all this beautiful football. But in the end, they ended up not even having that scoring presence. And here they are, 2-0 up with a beauty. With really their second team. And how about those 15 players watching this game?
Moran. Overlapping run, gets the pass from Dunn, but unfortunately runs out of space. Spain will take over with a goal kick. A chance to remind you, ESPN's coverage of U.S. soccer is presented by Volkswagen. Today that coverage takes us to Estadio El Sadar in Pamplona, where the U.S. trails by 2. As time is running out on this American side in this international window. They suffered the defeat on Friday 2-1 against England, the reigning European champions at Wembley. U.S. could be looking at back-to-back defeats for the first time in more than 5 years.
I do feel like, Sebi, though, there's always this smackdown of the U.S. right before a World Cup. Usually it's January of a World Cup year. They
happened in 2019 against France.
Happened in 2015 as well. They ended up winning both of those World Cups. But they go get spanked by a team, and it is a good wake-up call. I'll say it again as well, not to make excuses for this team, because this is a standard they wouldn't, I think, want either. They're going to talk about it as well, that it needs to be better. It needs to be cleaner. But they are, as Vlatko pointed out, missing a ton of players. And you're getting players back into form in the likes of Crystal Dunn.
Hatch.
Having said that, Spain is Spain is
exactly. You want to compare absentee lists?
Yeah, that makes that argument.
The U.S. wants to get into
makes that argument a little harder.
Ashley Sanchez. Washington Spirit star for Huerta. Back for Sanchez. On her right foot. Blocked away. And the Spanish defense almost impossible to cut through. Long-range effort, takes a deflection, out of bounds, corner kick for the U.S.
Not many looks by the U.S. tonight. The ones they have been getting, though, typically look a little bit like that. A lot of hard work to win a ball back in your own offensive third, Spain's defensive third.
Desperation time here for the Americans. U.S. throwing bodies into the box. Good ball. Horan nodded across. It goes out of bounds. No one there to apply the finishing touch.
That one not as clean a look as we saw earlier for Horan, battling a couple players off balance. Give Spain's defense a lot of credit. Their shape has been good. That back five has been so tough to break down.
Sauerbrunn just barely escapes there. Now Crystal Dunn. Ran for Smith too much on that pass. And again, the Americans just off the mark. 10 minutes to play. The U.S. with a mountain to climb. Spain about to add some more firepower here. On comes Marta Cardona. She's actually the player that scored for Spain in that 1-1 draw against Sweden on Friday. Her goal in the 83rd minute. The equalizer. She'll replace the goal scorer, Esther Gonzalez. Leads the match in the 81st minute with this beautiful goal, Julie, to her credit.
You just can't get enough of this goal, actually. Put it on a reel. Look at that beauty. Nothing Casey Murphy can do about that. Only 7 players on this roster that played in the Euros. This is one of them. Marta Cardona.
Worth noting, since we've been talking a lot about the upcoming World Cup, the draw is coming up on October 22nd in New Zealand. Find out the U.S. matchups for next summer's big tournament. Sweden will definitely be in the group, right? We know that.
Nigeria. It's a given.
Hatch.
Imagine.
Fouling. Falls to Sanchez on her left. Not gonna beat Rodriguez with that. As Misa, cool, calm, collected. Spain hanging on. Julie, we mentioned the U.S. has not lost consecutive games in over 5 years. They've not lost consecutive games while also allowing multiple goals since March 15th and 17th of the year 2001.
This one's gonna sting.
Not over yet. 83rd minute. U.S. has plenty of firepower too. Here's Crystal Dunn. Coffey and Sauerbrunn going backwards. Go all the way for Casey Murphy. Huerta. Some time and space down the right flank. Delivery into the box. Hatch with the touch, couldn't steer it on goal. Alyssa Thompson providing the pressure. Not enough to put Carmona off. She dribbles out of bounds and the U.S. will have the throw. Quickly back in. Smith turning and burning into the area. Lost her footing for a second. Still on it, Sophia Smith. Final pass, just not there for the U.S. today.
You see it in the body language of the U.S. players as well. They feel it.
Julie, just another reminder, our coverage of the MLS playoffs kicks off Sunday with a couple of round 1 matchups. We got Austin against RSL at 3 p.m. That's on ABC. And we also have Montreal against Orlando City. That at 8 p.m. on ESPN. Both those games, by the way, are available in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. Smith ahead, Hatch chasing.
Not that we needed any more confirmation of how good Europe is, but this trip has shown us.
Fight from Thompson. Again, winning a one-on-one battle with Carmona. Not a whole lot of Americans that can say that tonight. Just the one shot on goal so far tonight for the United States, Julie. As we mentioned, only 2 shots on goal against England on Friday. U.S. attack subdued. Vlatko Andonovski looking on. He's got time to fix the issues for this U.S. team. Real focus, of course, next summer's World Cup. Still more games to come this year. 2 more games against Germany still to be played for the United States in 2022.
Yeah, and I mean, there will be a lot of fans going into complete panic mode at home.
That's what we do.
Right? We're really good at that. But I would not panic. Not yet. There's plenty of time. There's a lot to be learned from this trip, clearly. A lot to build on. And it's a reminder, which is always healthy, of it's so friggin' hard to win a World Cup and be the best in the world when you have Europe building and growing and investing and professionalizing in the way that they are.
Here's some time and space for Thompson. Let's see what she can do with it. The number 13. Crossing the box off the crossbar. That took a deflection, so we will have a corner kick here for the United States. The teenager making a difference off the bench.
A lot of time and space. Spain doesn't slide. Almost sneaks that one in off of Carmona with the deflection.
Now or never for the Americans. 88th minute, they trail by 2. Ashley Hatch running interference. Header by Cook. Misa Rodriguez, as she has been all night.
I think this is an area emphasis as well that Vlatko Andonovski and his staff are going to look at, because I think Spain, of the 2 teams, has been more dangerous on set pieces tonight. And that is absolutely an area the United States should dominate. Overcooked a lot of the service in the first half, not even finding a player, wasted opportunities, and all these things they're going to look at and build upon.
Smith gets in behind the Spanish defense, going 2-on-1, then 3-on-1, and took all 3 of those Spanish defenders to pry the ball from Smith. Ninth minute now. Wouldn't be too much stoppage time. Not much cause for it. But taking her time to put this in play. We get another substitute from Spain. Gavilda. Yet another adjustment to his team here in the 90th minute. And Ascona, wearing the number 16, will replace Maite Oroz. There's a very good performance in midfield.
I think that midfield 3 with Oroz, Lopez, and Zornoza has been really good again tonight. And you think about what this means for those 15 players for Spain. This is about as good a result as the Spanish Federation would have hoped for against the reigning World Cup champions, with that second tier of players saying, okay, what do you got now? Because now they're holding a lot of the cards. You never wish your national team not to do well, but I can guarantee you those 15 were hoping that this was a bit more of a struggle for them so that their case could be made. That you need us as much as we need you.
Thompson ahead for Huerta, not going to get there. Into stoppage time. We're going to get 4 minutes here. Time to remind you that ESPN's coverage of U.S. soccer is presented by Volkswagen. So we look at Olga Carmona, one of the stars for the Spanish team tonight. Number 19 has been dominant down the left flank. And a big part of why Jorge Vilda's team right now holds a 2-0 lead over the #1 ranked team in the world, and the defending World Cup champions.
What year did you have to go back to, Sebi, for the last time the U.S. has been beat back-to-back on multiple goals? 2001. So we had to go back 2 decades.
Yes. You were still playing, and I was.
That tells you how long ago it was. Oh, shoot, I was still playing. That happened under our watch, huh?
Sorry, I didn't.
Who was it? Who was it? Who beat us twice? Come on, Mark.
Playing either of those games.
Definitely miss those games.
Again, we mentioned some games coming up for the United States. 2 against Germany, 1 on November 10th, 1 on November 13th. The game on November 13th will be ESPN broadcast. Excited to bring you that one. The calendar year finale for the U.S. women's national team. Still a couple minutes left to go here in Pamplona. Can the U.S. make it interesting with a late goal? Huerta. Looking for Sanchez, way overcooked it.
And that's the other thing is with this, you haven't seen the typical urgency you would see to try and get back into this game, to crawl back, to scrap back. 1 goal could get us there, is what we would say in the past. Yes, we're 2 down. And you don't see that. It just feels like a team that's running on fumes, honestly. And for a variety of reasons we've talked about.
Aimless cross-field ball from Spain. There are a few errant passes so far here tonight. Murphy racing off her line. U.S. getting stretched late. Thompson beats 1 and 2, but a whistle will bring this back. Spain edging the U.S. right now on possession, 52-48. Coffee. Rodriguez comes out, big punch from the Spanish goalie. He draws the contact as well. This is a worrisome sight for the United States. Rodriguez coming out of the goal like a missile. So she went straight into Lindsey Horan.
Brave by Horan as well. Not even all eyes on the ball, not seeing Misa Rodriguez coming in. And you can see the frustration on her face at that scoreline in this moment.
We are past the 4 minutes of stoppage time added by referee Deborah Bianchi. Moran trying to rush back onto the field. Held back by the fourth official. One more chance in this for the U.S., maybe. Crystal Dunn, long ball forward. Sanchez can't get to it. Here's Coffey. Moran back into the game. 96th minute. To the near post. Smith's there. Spain managing to clear. U.S. still pushing. Thompson, Smith. Tried to squeeze it through. Spain on the ball now. There it is, the final whistle from Estadio El Sadar in Pamplona, Spain. Dejection for the Americans, but joy for the Spaniards, especially their embattled manager, Jorge Vilda. Julie, what a night.